Hey guys, today we're starting out with a time lapse. And we're starting out with the time lapse because last episode we were rounding out or almost finished with the 5 room dungeon, the entrance. We have discussed all the 5 rooms and what we're going to add into them. But the one thing that is remaining is cleaning up everything and figuring out exactly what is going to be in each of these things. And the second thing is to create the combat encounter, which will be in room 4, which we will use zombies. And that's why I'm starting out today with drawing a zombie. Now, the zombie in the combat encounter will be slightly different than the zombies that I've been talking about earlier. And that's mainly because the zombies in combat encounter will actually fight back. In the 2 previous encounters with the zombies, which is in room 1 in the gatehouse and in room 3 in the trap door or the trap room, we will use zombies that are, well, impaled or somehow immobilized and almost dead, which means that they won't be any threat to the players. But we will end up here in this the fourth room. Here they will encounter the zombies that are live and that are actually going forward to attack them. And with that, the players will have to somehow defeat them. And in order to defeat them, I will have to create some stats for these zombies. And that's what we're going to do today. So, let's start out with these zombies. What are the main purpose of them and how are you going to fight them?
So guys, I messed up. I didn't press record when I was actually brainstorming all of these things, so now I'm doing it again, but the problem is that I've already written down everything here, so well, it will be less of a brainstorming and more of explaining to you my thought process that I had previously, which might be fine. But anyways, so we're back with the zombie. So the problem that I've been having is that the zombie doesn't have any stats, and well, today we're going to fix that. And I started out with thinking about what is a combat encounter. How do I want combat encounters to be? So firstly, I set up here, they're very dangerous. And they're dangerous in the way that if you're prepared, if the players are prepared for a combat, they will most likely win. If they're not prepared, if they're ambushed, they will have to run away. That's the main plan. Whenever something big comes after you, you just run away. That's what I want. I want resource management to be the main focus of the game, and that means that if you're prepared, if you've prepared your resources, then you can win. If you don't, then, well, you could win, but then you might just spend too much resources on it. But if you don't think that you can spend the amount of resources, then you run away. And when I mean resources, I don't mean torches and shovels. I mean abilities, health, and of course equipment, but different types of resources, not just the physical things. So the combat encounter is going to be that, well, you will win if you're prepared, and you will try to run away or try to circumvent if you're not prepared. Which again leads us back to this the XP system here, that you earn half if you circumvent and the other half if you permanently deal with the problem. So that means that whenever you go exploring and you find some dangerous monster or something, then you circumvent it, earn half the XP. You explore some more, then you go back and deal with the monster afterwards when you've prepared for it, and get the other half. So that's the idea, at least. We're now trying to make this type of combat encounter. So I tried to sketch out some combat mechanics that I want to add into the game, and it's turn-based, typical turn-based, but I don't want to have initiative. So what I'm thinking is that you have the player's turn and you have the enemy's turn, and whenever it's the player's turn, players just say what they want to do. It doesn't matter if it's if who goes first and so on. And I think that actually works pretty well. I haven't tried it myself, but I think it will work very well, because then the players can cooperate a little bit more. They can plan out, okay, you go over there and then I can go over here, and then we can attack something. So it doesn't have to be this individual thing, it's a group thing. Then at the enemy's turn, they will have a reaction. So I'm not quite sure how the action economy in the game will be, but I'm thinking that the player's turn, they have one action, two actions, doesn't matter, just they have actions that they can do. And then when it's the enemy's turn, they can react, and then they have reactions. And that the reactions are more of an what should I say, an active thing. So it's what I mean is that the players themselves have to determine how they react. It's sort of a phase 2 of combat. So phase 1 is to act, and then phase 2 is to react. Which, yeah, I think I'll do that. Then players roll to hit. Certainly, that's given. And then I thought that weapons have a damage type and a damage amount, a constant damage type and constant damage amount. So that means something like bludgeonous or piercing or cutting or some sort of weapon characteristic, and then some damage amount, and that translates into a specific damage dealt to the enemy, so that, again, I want them to be prepared. So I don't want them to run around with their favorite weapon, because the dagger looks so cool, so they'll just use the dagger all the time. I want them to think what weapons would be most efficient against this enemy, and that they would have to switch it up. And then it's easy to switch it up. That's also a main point here. But that weapons have some sort of type and damage, and that it has a specific meaning in the game. I mean, like in D&D, of course, you have piercing and bludgeonous weapons and so on, but it doesn't really matter unless it's one specific enemy, and that one specific enemy, then you might deal half damage or might deal double damage. But in general, like 90% of the time, it really doesn't matter what type of weapon you're using. And I don't want that. I want it to be a specific problem that you have to fix and you have to be prepared for. And then I want to have a distance mechanic, the abstract kind, with some far, near, close mechanics, so that any enemy is either far away from you or near you or very close to you. And if you like have throwing knives, then you can throw at near targets, but you can't reach those targets that are far away. And yeah, something like that. I don't really want it to be. I've seen several types of these distance mechanics where it's certain intervals that that work, but I really like this very simple system where you just have, yeah, it's far away. Okay, you can't hit him with something, or you have to run in order to reach somebody who's far away. These simple mechanics there. So that's probably how far I've gotten so far in the combat mechanic. I'm not sure yet whether I want players to, in their reaction, actively roll to dodge or something. I'm not sure how what types of weapon types there are, or how it will work. And again, this is just a sketch. I'm just trying to figure out what can I do further with this, and yeah, I'm not sure yet. So then I tried to stat out this zombie, and I thought, well, first of all, it's slow. That means, first of all, that you can run away. It's very easy for you to run away and stay disengaged from the zombie. Which means, again, that, first of all, to run away is very easy, but I don't want them to meet the first combat encounter, a very easy combat encounter, and then that they just run away from the first combat encounter. That won't teach them anything. That will teach them that everything is dangerous. So making them slow so that you can keep your distance easily, and that the difficulty to hit them is very low. That's what it says there. So whenever you attack, whenever you want to attack them, you usually would hit. Not sure what number that is yet, but I do have something in mind, but I'll have to work it out. So they have a difficulty to be hit, and I want them to be resilient, so that they have some sort of natural armor. Actually, it's magical armor or unnatural armor, but still that they can just take a hit. And of course, if you just keep hitting them, they will eventually lose limbs and eventually die. But taking a hit won't affect them much. And as I'm thinking about it, I think maybe that something with the damage type here, that maybe cutting damage deals more damage than bludgeoning. Again, I don't know what damage types there will be, but yeah, something in that way that if you try to cut them up, it's easier or something. And then you have grapple, which is an action they can do, which has a low difficulty, and they deal small amounts of damage, and the player cannot do actions, and the range is very close. That's what I've written down here. So the it's like the zombies in Ocarina of Time when you're a kid, and they jump on you, and yeah, you're just grappled, and you're just staying there and taking damage, and then you spend your action to get away. And I think that's easy enough for them to handle. They will know this is an enemy, this is what they do. You can bait them from far away, but again, shooting them with arrows doesn't deal much damage. You have to get up close and cut them or smash them. But if you get up close, they are able to hit you and so on. Since they're slow, you don't have to be extremely tactical about it. You can play around a little bit and try to figure out how to deal with it. And of course, they do have a weakness to fire. So if the players already have figured out that fire is their worst enemy, then they can use that and just deal with it immediately. And I would say something like you come towards them with a torch, and you set them on fire, spend an action, and then you just kill one enemy, or I don't know yet, but something very easy. And with that, I think I've concluded the 5-room dungeon, actually. So the idea here with the 5-room dungeon, I'll do a full summary next time, where I'll go through everything. I'll rewrite everything here and do it properly. But the idea here is that the players come along on to the shore, and they start to investigate this entrance to this castle. The first entrance here, the room 1, is just a portcullis that they have to open. And then room 2 is this magical portal thing, where they have to turn these dials in order to figure out how to open this gate. And this gate is just a locked door, or just a locked stone wall, so you can't see anything. Then when they've figured out something, they might either go to room 3, where they meet a zombie and a trap, or they will go to room 4, which they will meet 5 zombies that will attack them, and these zombies will just be relentlessly pursuing them, and they deal with it fairly simple. And then when they've opened up room 4, they've then also opened up this gate here, which means that they've reached room 5, which is the castle, or the castle grounds. So yeah, that's the 5 room dungeon, uh, complete and finished. And I'm sorry I didn't do the writing thing. I'm not sure if people like that or not. So this is just a new way of doing things. So yeah, uh, write a comment of if you like this approach better or not. And yeah, see you around. Until next time. Goodbye.